Hey guys, Level here. Today we're going to be doing T-side DUST2 basics. On a map like this too, it's a lot more interesting than Inferno because you get to introduce kind of some spawn-based tactics where, either your team spawn points are leaning towards the left side, which is B site, or it's leaning towards the right side, which is A site. It's not, a concrete way to play the game, but at the lower levels, it is extremely helpful. Just towards gaining like a very small advantage in one of the directions. Also, guys, thanks for 200 subs. That's pretty fucking sick. I'm pretty fucking stoked. Let's keep it going, baby. All right. So, in the theme of the last video, which was Inferno, we're gonna start with the pistols, pistol round. So let's say you have a spawn on this side, like there's a guy who spawns around here. This is a really good long spawn, and you're always gonna want to jump over this half wall because it makes you faster. Never like go around or go like this and then climb on top of it and then drop down. You're gonna want to knife out as soon as you can towards even this, like even that, it happens, but you'd want to try to clear it. You can jump on top of it and then get a second jump, but that kind of slows you down. So try to clear it and then move. And that goes for a lot of maps. Anytime you're jumping, you want to go around the corner because it's faster. Like you build up speed as opposed to just like walking through the door and doing this. So you can go like this, you can do another jump, and then you can jump out towards blue box and gain space. I'll talk about some basic ideas that like I have for strategy. So you can go long, obviously, as fast as you want. And I think this is a pretty good strategy because on a pistol round, if you come out and, as long as you don't all get headshot and you don't get stuck in the door frame, they're basically giving you the sight on a pistol because a lot of low elo players will buy grenades. They'll stand here, they'll try to hold this, they'll try to cross the pit. And the nice thing about the Glock is you can just keep running, you can just keep shooting, you can shoot that guy while he's in pit, you can keep moving. When they're falling back, a lot of people fuck up the way they fall back, so they're probably dying around this area, anywhere from, here to there. And it's some free entry kills, depending on how they play long. Now, the hard thing about going long is you never know how many players are going to be long. Sometimes it's one, sometimes it's two, sometimes it's three, sometimes it's zero. If it's one, again, you don't know, but this is like there's a few strategies you can do going long, right? So let's say we have some long spawns. You can drop these players Tech 9s or P250s, and they can buy armor, and you can raid boss, right? So like the first two spawns will buy armor. This third guy, like here, will drop them guns, and he'll buy flashbangs, right? So that's just the raid boss strategy. It's been around for a while. Sometimes I like to break out a call that as long as the team listens, it can be effective. But if they play aggro long, which you can't know, uh, it it doesn't always work. So I like to do a delayed long take. So we'll sit outside the door, we'll shift, we'll wait for any util they have, um, and we'll try to get a general idea of how many long players there are. Because on a lot of pistol rounds for the CTs, sometimes it's just one guy. He goes like this. He's like, okay, well, I'm not blind, and I don't hear anybody. And he'll go, it's B, guys. And then he'll run away. So when that happens and you hear him run away, you can all come out and shoot him in the back. And you get a bunch of, you get like a surprise timing almost on the rotations. So you get to go from here to here for free, You kill that guy, and you've got about like a 3-second lead on the rotations. And that's quite nice if you're, you know, storming out. The problem with doing this strat is sometimes this guy never leaves. He just stays pit. Sometimes this guy's in pit and he has a teammate here, and actually having the crossfire of the pit player and then this swing can crush a T-side push out of the doors. I'm not going to go into more CT strategy on long because I don't think it's a good idea for the CTs to play too long. Um, I I would prefer that the CTs played 3 long if they were going to hold long. If they're not going to hold long, then they should just play back on site. Well, that's just my personal belief. Um, so you have to be careful when you're doing something like that, because on most CT rounds, there's going to be a guy mid-door, and he's either going to push lower or he's going to go top mid. And as soon as he beelines top mid, he sees this cross. You can beat him to this cross, but the problem is he's already on the quick flank. And he'll probably catch like the 4th or 5th guy out of spawn going like this. So he'll have info. Like if he ever sees this guy running here, he'll know it's a long push, and you'll be walking into a stack. This is super common. Like this, there's almost always a guy top mid. If there's not, then you're playing CT wrong. In my opinion, you know, he could be lower, right? But whatever. There's almost one guy that pushes mid. He goes top mid or he goes upper B. So there's the raid boss strat. There's the delay long. There's the long rush. Long rush is gonna give you a really good chance to win the round. If you don't go long rush, you can go catwalk, which is pretty nice for pistol rounds. I guess it doesn't hurt. I mean, other people will tell you otherwise, but it doesn't hurt just to throw a simple mid-door smoke and then send the boys this way, right? And what you're going to do is you're going to look for the guy that peeks top mid. You're going to kill him. That's smoked. You're going to push catwalk as a 5-man. And then you go up catwalk. If you bought some flashbangs, I don't have a specific lineup, but I just kind of throw them over this building like this. That's usually pretty good. If you have another smoke, you can do something like that. Or this one. I don't like this one as much anymore because I feel like it comes out too much. So there should be a better one. Pretty similar. Be very careful about throwing smokes here. I know that's standard for a lot of tees. It's just so you can get past this angle. And maybe like that angle. It's just so you commit to the elbow fight. But CTs can definitely just like jump up new box. If there was already a guy on catwalk here, you're basically just smoking him off and he can come in behind you. It's very risky. The catwalk push with a mid-door smoke is a pretty solid pistol round. Just to get the juices flowing, man. You don't want to lose pistol. So other things you could do is any spawn you have that's on the left side of this box is a very good B spawn, and it allows you to have a good timing on fighting the guy lower. So depending on how fast he goes, if he shifts, you'll have a good timing on him. You'll see him around here. If he goes fast, then you'll see him like here-ish maybe. And you just want to deny him getting into this corner. They could even go 2 lower, right? They could play 1 on bait and 1 in the corner. So if you have one of those spawns, it's not exactly a complete truth if you're on the left side of this box. I have found like very, very rare scenarios where the guy just has the most insane timing and spawn. And he'll beat me like here. Like he'll get to the bottom of the stairs already, or he'll cross. I don't know how it happens, but it really shouldn't happen. But it's like a general rule. If you're on the left side of that box, you can beat him to lower tunnels, to this cross right here. Um, I think it depends on like if you fuck up your jump over here, if you had your Glock out too long, or if you like, jumped short or something. Like as long as you go as fast as you can, you should beat him to the bottom of the staircase. You can do a B rush. What I like to do on my B rushes, whether I'm using a MAC-10 or not, is I throw a fast door smoke. If someone else on your team says that they're gonna throw a B smoke, tell them no. I got it, right? And if you're one of the first two guys, if you're this spawn or this spawn, don't buy a smoke. You have to be one of the guys over here throwing the smoke, all right? Don't let anybody over there throw a smoke because they need to be running out. I throw this smoke. I come, I line up with this, green building, and I W run while putting my crosshair to the left of this ladder in the center of the shade on the building, and I jump once I get to here. This lands outside B doors, and it's a very fast landing smoke, which helps you guys get out. You can miss it, and it usually lands like window, but that's only if your crosshair is bad, or you get body blocked or something. Then, I'll usually buy flashbangs, and depending on what I want to do in the round, whether I'm looking for the lower lurk, or, this is like a third or fourth, maybe fifth guy out of spawn type of deal, I will throw a flashbang like this, which lands up at the crane for my teammate. If I'm going with them, I can go here and throw a flash like this. I tend to call strategy in a lot of my games, which is why I may or may not be the person buying grenades. So, the people rushing out, it's very important. If you're the first guy out, please do not buy a Tech 9 and a flashbang. I see a lot of people do this, particularly in low elo. I just don't understand why on a pistol round you want to not have armor, run this way. You probably have your Tech 9 out the whole time, which means you're slow as balls. The only flashbang you should be throwing if you're the first guy out is this one. It goes over the red sign. It's just a left click. It lands, here. Ideally, if you can get it like here, that would be better. So try not to fuck it up like I did. Yeah, so that if you get it at the bottom of the staircase, it really only half blinds you. You don't want it to hit this and then land on the staircase because you'll be more blind. Again, do not buy Tech 9 no armor, because you come out, there's a guy backside with USPS, there's a guy back there with USPS. It's really unlikely that you're going to get full use of the mobility of the Tech 9 while being able to punish someone backside or jumping off of window or anybody close. Like, you're never really going to be able to get through this choke point without taking damage. The whole point of the Tech 9 is that if you have half armor, you can run out, you can use full mobility, right? If you guys were doing a force buy, this is fine. Buy Tech 9, buy half armor, right? So you don't get hit punched. First guy, always have armor, first guy. Second guy, never throw a grenade, okay? If you're here, there's door smokes here. This is like kind of fine if you don't know the rush one, but do not come down here and be like, hold on guys, we're doing a rush, but I'm gonna stall the rush by fucking 15 seconds so that I can find this dot on the wall and throw a door smoke. Is this door? I don't even know. I missed. If anyone's calling a rush and someone goes over here, yo, I need a smoke. I need to go over here. I think this one's door. That means two people are buying smokes. That's window. Okay, that was window, and then door is between these two circle marks. And this is fine if you're doing a B execute, right? Like, this is fine. But if we're doing a rush, You just don't want to throw, like, look at how long it took for those smokes to land, and I needed to throw 2 of them. And it's just like, dude, you're just killing the whole momentum, right? So if you're doing a rush, do a rush, buy armor, have a Glock, run out. When you're running out, look back sight. When you don't jiggle here because you're first guy out. You have a guy behind you to trade. You should be sending as many people as you can through the tunnel. Look back sight and run out. Like run out, scan, right? Scan the sight boxes while you're running. And this is kind of up for debate, but I think if you're the first guy, and traditionally there will be a molly here to stop the rush. Some people buy a smoke to smoke it. Some people on CT put a smoke here, and they buy dualies, so they can go like this. And you're gonna lose a lot of rounds, like if you try to rush B. So that's why you need to hit, like if you're gonna rush B, this flashbang is so important. Like if you don't have this flashbang that lands, you know, like here, or someone like me that is throwing the sight flashes for you, whether they come here or up here, like you're probably gonna lose if you don't have flashbangs. So there does have to be a guy in the back with flashbangs. This is up for debate. First guy out, a lot of people go like this and they try to clear back sight. I don't agree with that, right? Because I have a door smoke down. And I think if you're the first guy out, you should be putting pressure on the box guy while you can. And then when you get to this point, you need to start clearing right side. You need to clear this car, and you need to full clear car. Your whole job is just to create the space to come out, right? So if you die here, or if you die here, like you didn't actually gain space because you're getting shot in the back of the head. So the space you need to create is here. This space, allowing the team to come out and not get shot by this guy, or 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 this guy, is really important. So you can jump out, you can clear far left if you want, right? Like let's say there's a smoke down and you think he crossed. I guess you can clear left. You know, that's a job that needs to be done, right? But also, there's so many opportunities for a CT to be on the right side of your screen that you cannot ignore it as the first guy out. So, I mean, if you want, you can do that. I mean, you know, you never know how the round's going to play out, right? The guy could be literally anywhere. Traditionally, you do want to stop somebody from crossing left side, whether it's that corner or this corner. So do your best to maintain vision and have audio of what's happening in front of you. If you ever hear a guy on your right, or if you see the trajectory of the smoke come from like here. For example, I'm running out. I see that the smoke came from the close right. I should be focusing that player. Okay, the last thing you can do, if you're not going long cat or B, you can go lower. I think lower is a really good idea, especially if the B entry dies immediately before we even have any space, or if tunnel gets, you know, mollied or smoked. Just go lower. If you have a good spawn, you can stop this guy crossing left. You can come out. You can peek catwalk. If you run fast enough, make sure you clear this corner and make sure you clear this corner, right? So these are corners you need to check. You need to be wary of what's going on catwalk. Like I said, if there's nobody lower, well, usually there's a CT lower or top mid. So when you come out, do not go mid door. You got to clear top mid. It's a must. It's a must clear, right? So you can either do a mid to B split. After the molly ends in B, if you have any lurkers, you guys can do a B split. You might want a CT smoke if you have one, but it's not a big deal. Just, you know, you can soft clear it. You can jump and just go this way and just take space, and then look car and careful window, look back sight, look under a window, jump out, fight that guy, kill him, trade this guy when he killed your teammate over there. I mean, you just need to keep moving and keep creating space and be wary of your blind spots. If you have a blind spot, make it not a blind spot. Finally, all that just to lose the second round, right, guys? So, second round. Lots of CTs push mid, right? Lots of CTs push mid, lots of CTs nade stack here, lots of CTs nade stack long door. So, if you want to go long, wait here, listen for grenades. If you hear grenades on the left, then go long. Try not to lose the bomb. If you hear grenades here, then go mid or B site. Alternatively, you can just go B again, because more often than not, the CTs will be mid or A. In higher elo, you will have an upper B crunch by the CTs. So, the way to win the second round and not lose to pistols is to play together as 5 teammates and to spend your money appropriately. Too many people are not buying armor. Too many people are buying scout. Too many people are only using pistols. Listen, it's 2026, guys. The CT economy is pretty strong, and they like to force buy on the second round, especially with the new MP7 buff, and how strong the 5.7 is, and how good people's aim is with the deagle, right? So, you gotta play together. You gotta play as a 5-man. You can do another B rush, and with the MAC-10s, you should be able to clean everything up with the, the rush smoke that I taught you before. If you go mid, so a lot of times, if the team goes mid, like, maybe I won't call, maybe I'll ask, I try to ask what the boys want to do, right? I'm trying to get some teamwork and cooperation in the solo queue game, so I'm like, yo, what's up, guys? What do you want to do this round, right? Sometimes I don't get a good response, right? If I do get a response and someone says, let's go catwalk, so you can smoke mid, and it's DUST2, right? I would smoke this, and the reason I would smoke it is because on DUST2, it is very common for people on second round and majority of the game to force by scout. So you never want to do like a suicide or a mid take if the CTs have a scout, because he can get 1 kill and he can get a tag, and then all the pistols collapse on you in the post plant, and you have 30 health because you got tagged. It's very dangerous, right? So the way I secure my rounds is I try to be last alive, whether I have a MAC-10 or a Galil on the second round. Like I said, spend your money. Nothing wrong with buying a nice, high-powered, fast-shooting rifle. If my teammates are pushing suicide or mid, and they call that it's a mid rush, right? We'll figure that out very quickly. After I throw this mid smoke, I throw a flashbang up here. You can do different ones. You can like run throw it so that it goes further. So I have a guy suicide. He buys a scout, even though like he really shouldn't be buying a scout on this round. And he's like, "Oh my God, they push mid, right? Somebody save me!" All right, this flashbang will flash anybody pushing mid. Oh my God, they're so blind, right? So my scouter can get out of here, out of this bad area. He can go this way. If he goes in the corner, I can flash and then drop down and hold him with a Galil. So I can hold the push and take a fight. Keep in mind, they're going to be playing this headshot angle with a Glock, okay? Or with a deagle, right? So I'm dead. The scouter's tagged. There's a bunch of nades here. We lost the gun. They pushed up. It's you just got to know how to play the round, right? Like it happens even in my elo, like even in 25K games, like if you'll lose the second round, it's like It's just not fun, honestly. I don't know how to prevent it, but this is how I prevent it, right? I throw this flashbang. Um, you know, if my teammates are here, flashbang comes in. Some of these guys should be blind, right? And if I have a guy who bought AK no util, he should be able to clean the round up. So that flashbang is how I stop the mid push. If we happen to call a long and like 2 or 3 of us come this way and there's either no one long or we get the entry kill, you just gotta be patient because like let's say the guy here died with bomb, right? You gotta be patient and you gotta work together slowly with the people that are outside long and the people that are in T-spawn to hold suicide, to hold close long door because you don't want the enemy team to grab an AK or to get nice positioning, which they basically already have. So very slowly just hold suicide and very slowly come out of mid doors, right? Try to stay grouped, try to play trade frags, trade fragging. Very important. If you don't get trade frags, if your trade frag percentage is below 50%, you're probably losing or you're bad at aiming. You know, like, let's try to get some trade frags. Yeah, that's basically how you stop the pushes. So the other thing you could do is like they can push upper B. They can do whatever they want. They can stack a site. I would encourage you, if you're alone, to be very slow here, right? Let's say you played a 4-1 and you have a B lurk. The B lurk guys should be like, oh, they just cleared lower stairs, right? They just peeked it. Oh, I heard him run away. The upper B guy flashed in. Okay, I'm gonna wait for the upper B guy to push T-spawn. Okay, he didn't push T-spawn. I'm gonna slow clear him. Okay, he's not in that corner. Okay, let's go flank mid. Okay, I'm flanking mid, and, you know, I can slow cure all this. You know, if my team's dead, then I'll just run out and, you know, try to take a fight here and a fight there. And I'll go back this way, and I'll kill the guy behind the car. And, you know, there's going to be rounds where you're in a 1v3, 1v4, and it's just not fun because your team didn't know what to look out for. To combat a lot of this chaos and space that the CTs are taking, you can, if you have a good spawn like this, you can jump over suicide and just molly mid-door instantly. And you can also nade the door. So let's say, you know, you buy a Mac 10 and it's not, you know, that much of an investment, or it's not that much of an important weapon that if the CTs get it, it's not a big deal, right? So you can molly mid door and then nade it, and if they push mid, they might almost be dead. 2 to 3 of them might be dead. Gun rounds. Let's talk about something maybe not to do. Two things not to do on a T side. A T side DUST2. So I don't actually know the lineup. Let me see if I can guess it. So this is an Xbox smoke that is safe to throw. You can come into this corner. You can aim at the top of this line, and you can left click jump throw. And this will land on Xbox. I think this is a safe Xbox smoke to throw if you know that in the round you guys want to go catwalk. The bad thing about this smoke is that if you guys are doing a split, a lot of rounds, we're going to have people in lower trying to take lower control. Your lower player cannot help you, and a lot of people feel very comfortable about taking this fight on catwalk or this fight on catwalk because it allows you some deeper vision where, you know, coming this way and having to clear this and this is not exactly easy. You know, the way I do it is I clear here, and then I, you know, maybe if I know he plays aggro cat, I'll pre-fire this. But having the lower support is pretty nice, generally speaking, because the CT, he will come out like this and fight mid, and he'll get shot in the side of the head. So I think this is fine depending on what you're doing in the round, but the smokes that land here are a complete no-go. This is no bueno. You can't have this. Allowing the CT to come here for free and shoot along the smoke, or to get behind the smoke and, you know, kill my mid door player, or just allowing him to play aggressive in the smoke is not cool. All right, if you throw a smoke and it lands on the right side, you can't have that. It has to be a smoke that lands on the left side. I've already shown this, but this is a standard mid-door smoke where you line up on this center line and you aim at this dot right here. This is a very safe smoke to throw that allows you lots of options and will give you... People on DUST2, like I said, it's a spawn-based map, right? So they want to send everybody in one direction because we have this spawn. That's just not how you can play CS nowadays and have a good chance to win. You need to have a better idea of the map control. And a smoke like this denies vision to the CT upper. And if they're not aggressive in mid, you should be able to dominate mid, right? If you can dominate mid with a mid smoke, and even now there's lots of resources online where they suggest you throw a nade like this, and that allows you to cross to the left after you throw that nade, right? We throw the nade. You can throw a smoke along this little nub on the door. You go to the bottom left of it and you left click throw. You get this smoke. That one kind of missed. I'm sure there's a way to make it more accurate. Yeah, I mean, play around with it. I did the palm tree just there. It went up. The left side of the little spike thing, people recommend that. Maybe you can do the center of the spike thing. We just want to smoke the top of the door frame, which that's not exactly doing. But there's a lineup you can learn, right? And it doesn't matter. Maybe you don't smoke it, right? Maybe you molly it, right? So you throw the nade, and you molly mid, right? The reason you want to throw the smoke is so you can molly cat and flash over the mid door smoke and push through this. If you flash and you know they have an opper, you definitely want to peek this side because he's blind and he's running back B ramp, so you might be able to get a free kill. But it's a very, very aggressive style that, like I said in my Inferno video, when you run up T ramp and you peek mid instantly, you need to take some risk, and when you take that risk you can get some reward. So the risk here is running suicide into the op, trying to mitigate the risk with the HE grenade, crossing. Now I have all of mid. I have all of mid, and I know if they're pushing mid, I know if they're going lower. I have a really good timing on the catwalk player, right? So I'm here on this angle before he is, so I can take him off the angle with the molly, and then I can run down. And if there's a guy mid and he runs through my smoke, I'll usually see him like here, and instead of throwing the molly, I'll keep my gun out. I'll kill him. Maybe I'll hit him. I'll tell my guys in upper B that there's a guy coming lower. They'll go here. They will meticulously or aggressively remove that player from the round. And then I can continue, right? So I already took that risk. Now I'm going for more, right? So this, I had the smoke. I go for more risk. I throw a high flashbang, and I'm out. So that's what some videos will tell you to do, and I've been doing that more in my games, and it's working not bad, right? Alternatively, you can. There's a way to smoke mid from here. I don't traditionally do that. Let's see if I can guess. Ah, okay. So I guessed. You come to the corner. There's a little lock here. You go a little bit to the right of the lock. Along that. And it's just a mid-door smoke. I don't know how good it is. Very good. Perfect smoke. So you can do this, and then you can back up, and along this... what is this? Piece of wood. That's what I'm going to go with. Along this piece of wood, you can back up along the piece of wood, and then you can run, throw a molly towards catwalk. Note that it does not go super far, and sometimes a guy can come like this. Well, you can molly that space. You can come here. If he peeks catwalk, again, you're going to want to... You don't have to push catwalk, okay? Like, I find that it's very successful to do that combo. And then, if he's going to peek behind the molly, you can just come here, or one of your teammates from this side with the mid-door smoke should be coming out, because that's smoked. So when he comes out, try not to be running when you're in this area. Try not to be running to the left. Because if the CT does peek, you'll be running, and he'll be able to kill you and run away, and you guys will be down man advantage. So if someone over here, when you get to this point and you're like, okay, the molly's down, he could be behind the molly. You can crouch hold it if you want, right? And once you get to like this point, you're just going to basically stand still and hold it. Try not to do this. Try to do this. It's a subtle difference that when this guy comes out and, you know, he doesn't want to commit to the fight, well, a player like me doesn't want to commit to the fight because I know that I can jiggle this, right, briefly. I can maybe even pre-fire it. But as soon as I go here, if someone's in the corner and they peek out, or I overstay lower, or they're pushing me there and I made a step, as soon as I get to this point where you would be standing, if I commit to a fight here, very high chance I'm going to get traded. Also, the Xbox smoke or the mid-door smoke, very crucial, however you throw it. There's ways to throw it from over here, whether it's here. I don't know the lineup. Oh, God. There's a way you can throw it from here. There's the one I taught you. There's this one, so you can come here, line up with this, and it should be this dot right there, and you left click. This should land on top of the door. So there's a way to do this smoke from over here where you're by this gate somewhere and you need an op, and it's just ridiculous. So this is probably like a good meta smoke. Where you're left click jump throwing there. If you're one of the people that come over here or here and you throw, man, I don't even remember how to line it up because it's been so long. I think it's like this. No. Wow, I'm like throwing perfect Xbox smokes I haven't thrown in like 2 years. I don't throw the Xbox smoke. I just throw mid-door because I don't see the point of a Xbox smoke. If you throw a smoke like this, it's garbage. Don't do it. The other thing to not do is I see people in low elo throw this smoke, which I used to think that it was a good smoke, but I do not believe it anymore. There are certain grenades that are taught at points in time, and they're useful, but then they kind of get figured out, or maybe they're not useful. So you get flush with this corner of the wall, and you aim above this little stick thing that comes out of the house. You aim above that and you left click jump throw. This is a long corner smoke. There's also long corner smokes you can probably throw from somewhere around here where you look at a brick up there. I don't think you need to know how to throw the long corner smoke. In lower elo, I would not throw the smoke without a purpose. And a lot of the times it'll land here, and it'll come out even more. Let's just think about it. I'm the T-side player. I get to here. Yes, the smoke is there, so I feel safe coming this way. But if the CTs play too long and he crosses pit like every round, you're giving him free cover towards crossing pit. So, and then the second player you can't kill. So the second player is behind the smoke. You can't see him, so you can't shoot him. The other player gets to cross half of long, right? So he already, like, he gets free cover, and then you come out to fight him. And by this time, like, he's here, you're fighting him. Maybe you're not running. His teammate is behind the smoke, here spamming, or he's coming out here in this angle, which I think is pretty good, along this part of the garage for a CT. And he's killing you in the side of the head. The only time I would ever throw a long corner smoke is if they have an opper. Because the opper will post up on the corner. And, you know, if he's here, he takes one shot, he tries to fall back. There's, you know, obviously a time delay between shots. If he's falling back, he's generally pretty easy to trace through the smoke. And you might be able to kill him while he's falling back. He also can't really maneuver or support his teammate in pit as good as a second rifle player. So the reason I wouldn't throw a long corner smoke is because it gives the CTs cover. It gives both of them cover to pit, cover helping pit. And the rifle players can use that smoke against you pretty well. And it makes it a lot harder to get an entry kill towards long. Which, you know, if you're coming long, I can fight the corner here. I can fight the guy far. I can wait for the flash and then peek. And or I can just full swing and fight the guy crossing the pit. Sometimes, like, if you're coming out, like, so the way I do it, right, if I'm going alone or if I have teammates, I can underhand a smoke in this corner, which will undo a molly, and this scares a lot of my teammates because they're like, oh my god, long is smoked, like, why'd you smoke that? Like, it's making it so hard to trade you. Like, if they were just following me, like, they can see, right? As long as they're a good player, they should know where the smoke ends, and they should be able to get a trade kill. I'm out here, I full swing to the corner, I fight that guy, I'm fighting the guy crossing, and sometimes, I mean, you know, the smoke is extinguished, right? So what will happen is me and my teammate will come here, and everybody else will be behind the molly. So there's usually like one guy here standing, and I'm like, well, why are you standing there, bro? Like, our team's out long. So you gotta use a molly here, and it takes a while. So if you're the first guy, you can underhand it in the corner. The smoke's mollied for your team. The smoke's mollied for your team. The molly is smoked for your team. You can run out. You can trade. You can get entries, and there's no long corner smoke. And, you know, you'll have good flashbangs. Most people, honestly, aren't getting blinded because they know how to look away. And they'll just peek after flashes. So if you're throwing flashes, which this is how most people throw flashes, you can do the top of the tree jump throw, or you can do the bottom of the tree jump throw. The top goes a little bit farther. You can also flash behind your team. Does that even go as far as I need it to? So that'll flash people crossing here, and it'll be behind your teammate, so you can take more space towards blue dumpster, and this guy crossing pit will be blind. You're just gonna come over here. You're gonna W jump throw along the pipe. Let's say, you know, they molly long. And then they smoke it. And because they smoked it, they cross to the right side. And you don't know whether or not he crossed, but the possibility of him crossing is a thing. Let's say you have a teammate who's waiting for the smoke to fade and he's trying to get some info because we need to get out long. He comes here, he looks at that, he clears this, and he's like, okay, bruh, flash me through the door, right? So through the door means you come here, crouch, and you're going to left click, bounce a flash right here. Can maybe do like this should work perfectly actually. So middle click at the top of the arch, or you can left click bounce off the floor. If you bounce off the floor, he should hear it. Honestly, a guy in that corner will probably hear it, so you can get on top of the car. The whole point is, like, if you're in this general area, you can pop a flash right at the door, and you should be blind, right? I'm gonna close my eyes for this one. Yeah, you're full blind. So, like, if you want to clear this corner, right? And that's how you do that. Sometimes they stand here, so just be careful. Right? You want to come out, clear this, clear that. They should be blind. When he's blind, he's going to be like, oh shit, I'm blind. And they just go like that. Now, if you're the first guy, like, normally, it's very hard as the first guy to not want to go straight to blue dumpster just to grab space. If I have, like, a Tech 9, right, and I run out and I'm just creating space this way and I'm not fighting, then that's so my team can get out, right? But on a rifle round, especially when your teammates are running through a molly for you so that they can fight with you, or a smoke here. So the smoke, like, let's just reenact it really quick. The molly's down, left click a smoke here. Molly's extinguished, we're out, we're here, right? If my team is going to have to run through whatever leftover of the molly is right here, maybe they threw it shorter, you kind of do want to stay here and protect them as they're coming out of this gray screen. It's usually even worse. Even in my own gameplay where I'll come to blue dumpster just to, like, reload or something if I don't get the kill. I mean, I guess if you're reloading, it's fine to go to blue dumpster, but if you have ammo in your gun, you should try to be escorting your teammates out of long doors. So it's at this point we got the long entry kills maybe. You can smoke cross right here. So a lot of people do it by this barrel. They step to the side and then look at the little tooth up there and they run throw. I think I'm aiming a little low. If you do that, it lands in the cross, it's fine. I think there's a gap on the left if you don't have, like, a specific lineup. That's not that bad. I've seen worse ones. I throw this one. It takes a while to land, but I just get here and I aim up at the corner of this building, just a little bit above it. It's just a left click. It lands good. It lands deep. It takes a while though. See, like, I was very slowly scaling up long with a with a grenade in my hand, not even my knife, and I was going like this, and it just takes a while to land, but it's fine. Usually you have time to make that work. There's also good lineups here. I think if you get in this corner, there should be, like, a catwalk lineup somewhere here. Yeah, okay, yeah, you can just even eyeball it. I don't have a specific lineup, so Yeah, I mean, that's not bad. You can come here. You can aim, you know, up from this right side of the center of the dumpster, above the red part, kind of in the sky by this cloud. I don't know if the clouds are always there, but if you just aim straight up, it's pretty easy to remember. I think that's definitely doable. You can re-smoke catwalk from long, which is nice. I mean, this is a little short, arguably. Like, this is definitely a smoke that a CT would feel comfortable flashing through, whether it was this way or that way. They would definitely push this. But I mean, I guess, like, if you're pushing this and you're already exposed to long, it's pretty good. I don't know. I don't use that one too much, but I feel like if I had the opportunity to use it more as like the guy holding for a long push when the bomb's planted for me. I don't really plant the bomb for long too often. I kind of just plant it default or safe and try to win on the site. So I feel like you can't afford the risk of planting up here and dying to CT or cat, or planting here and dying to the cat swing. This will lose you a lot of rounds actually, because if your teammates aren't watching, they can come out elbow, or they could be hiding ninja, and this is considered safe plant because you can't be shot from cat corner or long, but it's not always the safest plant. I think the safest plant is always just this one, as long as you have like some long control, right? But when they come out long here, then then you have to fight long. It's a struggle. It's a weird bomb site. I actually kind of wish that they would redo it a little bit. I don't. I'm kind of getting really tired of these boxes. I like this box, but this box is kind of bothering me, and some other factors. Like I wish the barrels were back, because you used to actually be able to play the barrels, and I feel like because this game is so centric on swinging that you can't stand still on the barrels anymore. At least this one you can't. You could play here, you'll get maybe a kill. If they're coming up ramp, you could play here, you should get a kill. Um, I've played this one just because it's like an off angle, and let's think about it. Like, I'm coming up ramp, I'm clearing ninja slowly, right? I'm clearing the boxes, right? I'm worried about the boxes close. Clearing ninja, and then I'm transitioning to this like elbow in this box. So I'm usually skipping that basket. I guess some players could clear it, like, especially if you like run. Maybe it's not that bad. Maybe I always play in the center like this, but maybe I should play like this. Maybe that's good. I don't know. I'll have to test it. Sneaking out long, I always like check the corner. I try to have info if I'm lurking here on if someone could have went here. It's very important. I try not to take too much nade damage here. If I think the CT's push long, I put my crosshair right here and I hold the door, and this usually gets me a kill. However, they molly this, and they usually throw a deeper nade behind the molly. It's super common, so you usually lose like half your health. So what I started doing is waiting here for the nade. After the nade, I'll peek, and then I'll go into the corner. Um, again, try to be knowledgeable on if they could be on the left side of the door, and then when you come out, clear the corner, right? Slowly clear this. I get super close to this because I know how to pre-aim the pit, right? I go right here I mean, I don't have a specific lineup. I just visualize it in my head that this peak right here is going to be right on his head, on the head glitch. So I would practice that. It's pretty important. I actually get called a cheater a lot just for getting this exact kill. Just coming out and one-tapping that guy. Maybe I take 2 or 3 shots, and then now I'm already out long. I can shoot the guy ramp. Yeah, so this smoke again, right? Just kind of up. Okay, the clouds move, but I mean, it's pretty easy to remember. I think it's good enough as long as you go up on this line and you're somewhere in the sky. There used to be a lineup where you'd come to these like bricks, and there's this like lip of the window up there near this antenna, and you kind of just aim right above it. If you aim if you go aim on the right side of it and you go straight up, you get a deep CT smoke. The lineup's not perfect. You can definitely fuck it up. I don't really need this one, but I guess it's nice to have like a deep CT option. There's a little bit of a gap on the left side, which scares me about an opper. I mean, sometimes you want to take the fight elevator. I don't have a lot to provide. I feel like the map is very simplistic. Where the Inferno one, it's simple, but there's like a lot of grenades you need to know. And you need to understand how to go back and forth between the sites. And on DUST2, it's not necessarily going back and forth between the sites, but knowing, like, you need to fight for the entire map. The entirety of the map. When you're fighting for long, like, the CTs are going to throw smoke that looks like this a lot. And you won't be able to see past it. But your teammate, I think it lands like here, actually. Your teammates are going to, like, struggle to really want to push this smoke. And that's reasonable. If you have, you know, a cross smoke, you can just HE it and throw some flashbangs and push. Like, make sure we're pushing through the smoke. It's going to be hard in solo queue games because people aren't going to understand. Like, they're not going to understand that you need to take the space because the whole point of the smoke is to buy time for rotates. Let's say we're pushing, and obviously when we're pushing, we're fighting this way, right? We're fighting the site boxes, and we're fighting elevator. So so what I found is better is, like, when you come out long, you should be attempting to molly the back of the car. If you do it correctly, you'll get the corner and the back of the car, which is clutch. I suppose somebody could be hiding here. So keep that in mind. Like, even if you clear car, you still gotta re-clear it. So, let's say you're still skeptical. You can shoot like that, and you should see blood splatters along the wall. It's worth doing anyways. Just a few bullets, right? Like, even if we molly it, right? I don't know where to aim, right? I'm just guessing. So sometimes I want the corner, I'll throw it shorter. Sometimes I want the back of the car. If you can do both with one, that's good, right? So try to find that nice middle space. I think that looks like a middle space where I kind of got both. Kind of. Like, it's hard. It's hard to place it on the fly. You could, you know, find a lineup for that, but I think it's fine. I'm not really worried about it because I know if there was a gap in the molly on either side, I'll just walk up and I'll clear the gap. What you're gonna hear a lot is there's gonna be a smoke here or there's not gonna be a smoke here. You're gonna hear people throw flashbangs, so you'll hear the release of the flashbang. That, right? You'll hear that, or you'll hear them do this. You'll hear the bounce. So if you're the first guy coming up long, really difficult to communicate this, but just look away from the flash and then peek into that guy, and he'll expect you to be blind. And when he expects you to be blind, he'll be looking deep, and then he'll be clearing. So you should be able to kill him as long as you're not blind. If you're other people back here, you can't just all go in a straight line and follow this guy. That's not how that works. Somebody has to put pressure on the box. Either here, here, here. You don't have to push. You don't have to do this, right? Because you're not going to get a kill doing that. Just one of the, like, 3 to 4 guys that are on this long push needs to just sit here and fight the boxes, right? As long as you can pressure the boxes and allow your teammates to get up the ramp, as soon as they get up the ramp and gain control of the boxes, then you can proceed forward, right? If this guy dies, like if you're this guy fighting the boxes and you die to sight, somebody else in front of you needs to become you. Like they need to do your job. So send one guy this way, you know, maybe one guy this way. The third guy can be in a line if he wants. He can go here if he wants. But the guy in the back, after this guy dies, who's fighting the boxes, needs to then become the box fighter. Like somebody has to always be pressuring the fight. Because if they fucking flash here, right, however they flash, whether it's, you know, this one or there's some cool ones you can do. I think I saw one today. Oh. No, that's not it. What does that flash do? Oh, that's actually not that bad. It's better than I thought. Okay, so there's going to be a guy elevator. He's going to flash. He's going to swing. There could even be two guys elevator. There's going to be the original site player who could swing here, or he could be on top of a box, right? Or, you know, with the flash, with the smokes, he gets on top of this box somehow because there was a smoke, I don't know, here, and there was a smoke here, right? So, like, let's say this guy's just, like, playing on the boxes, right? Like, he can get in there, you know? Someone could be back here fighting. Anywhere along here could be fighting. So you might get swung by, like, 2 to 3 guys. And if you're in a straight line here, it just doesn't work. So somebody needs to contest the box. And, like, particularly when you're contesting the box. Let's say there's a smoke here, right? Where does it land? I don't know exactly where it lands. There's, like, a specific lineup that the CTs throw from right here. I just kind of eyeball it like this. Pretty much exactly the spot. Like, let's say you're a T-man. So we're not going to push the smoke, right? Because it's the randoms and they're not willing to go through the smoke. So you can come to this coffee cup. You can't see it behind the smoke, but if you can, you know, you'll be able to see this. So let's rethrow the smoke. Okay, so I see the light post. I see the plus. I see the light post. I know the door's here. And just to the left of the door, there's a lineup for a jump throw. But you could learn how to do that through the smoke. If there is no smoke, you just put your crosshair on this thing. It's right here. It's just a jump throw. This molly is fucking sick. It mollies elevator, it mollies the sight boxes. It's really good. If you can figure out how to do that through the smoke, like I just did, I mean, maybe it's not consistent, but it's worth a throw, right? Like, if we're going to run up with AKs anyways, we're not going to be pulling out a molly to, you know, execute onto the site. Like, maybe if we're running up, you know, we get the first kill. After the first kill, maybe we'll throw one at the palm tree, right? But if we're running up and taking fights and there's a lot of fights happening, before the fights happen and there's a smoke down, you can figure it out. So there's the light post, there's the door, and just to the bottom left of the door, there's a jump throw, right? And I hit it again, dude. I'm 2 for 2. So that's a cool molly you can throw. And then, like I said, these flashes up here are bad. So what I started doing is throwing flashbangs behind the car because your teammates shouldn't be looking at the car. You throw them at behind the car like this. They land in front of the car. And someone here is now hella blind. Okay, remember how useless the ones up there were? These ones are pretty good. Somebody, you know, peeking this angle, very blind. Somebody up here on this box, very blind. Somebody back here on catwalk. Let's see. I mean, I think this is probably fine. That's not a bad blind. That might save your life. Some Ziwu shit, bro, where he throws flashes like this, and that's kind of nice. Like that could definitely work. Yeah, that's a nice blind actually. That's not bad. If your teammates are pushing and you're the guy in the back, just kind of line up over here with like maybe in between these two satellites, right? And then just running jump throw. Try to find a lineup that works for you. And when your teammates are running up, if you time it correctly, well, I'm less blind than my opponents, but you know, if you time it right, you should be able to get some kills somewhere. Yeah, I mean, I think this is self-explanatory. Most people know how to play this. I kind of talked about some of the areas you could plant. If you're coming from catwalk and you're going to hold catwalk in the post plant, plant for cat. If you're just trying to play a solid round, plant default. You can plant for long in some scenarios where someone asks for a plant long because they have an op and they're going to play long. It just gives you an extra way to win the round. I don't have any problems with the way people play this post plant. If I don't have any problems with it because I'm usually pretty good at giving out information where we could lose, right? If I'm like, the CT guy, I haven't seen him in a while, like he has time to go long, or the B player, I don't know where the B player is, like he didn't rotate in at the normal timing, right? If he's not on the normal timing, then he could have went top mid. He could have pushed through upper B towards T-spawn, and he's coming out long, right? So if we have a guy long, hopefully he wins the fight. If we don't have a guy long, we usually have a guy car. The guy car usually loses the fight. If he isn't gonna lose the fight, then he'll be able to hold this and get the kill, and then kill the guy here, and it's fine. I think Goose is super strong. Goose is hella strong because they have to commit one to the clear. Like you're always gonna get a 1v1 before you get a 1v2 because two people can't peek you at the same time really. So you always get this fight, and then you can step out, get the second fight, and then you can look for the elevator guy, right? And this is always the hard part, whether he jumps on the box or he goes wide or he goes shallow or he jumps up or he goes new box. It's always difficult to fight this. So if you're in a 1v1 and you know he's coming like CT or long, I probably wouldn't play Goose because fighting here or crouching here is like, it's very difficult because what happens is the guy comes up, he's clearing Goose first, and you're stuck in the corner of the walls, right? So it's super easy to see where you are. He usually wins the fight. You can play Ninja if the bomb is planted for you. Just know that it is very frequently mollied out, and it is also, you have no idea how the guy's gonna walk onto site, right? So he could walk onto site like this, or like maybe like this, right? So he's in the blind spot, and then he comes along and he's shifting so you can't hear him. But either way, right? He comes up, you're waiting for a tap or a push, and he's gonna be able to slowly walk up on you, or even in some cases, like he could do this, right? Where he jumps up and then he comes down and then he free fires you, and that's kind of just uncomfortable. But he can come here even and wallbang you out. Maybe he has to be here, yeah. I don't know. If he comes to this point and he's holding you, like, okay, with an op, it's wallbangable, but yeah. So I took a fight the other day because I actually thought that the guy he knew I was Ninja, and I thought he was gonna wallbang me. So I was like, I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna wait for him to go to the top of the ramp, right? And I killed him. I won the round, but I didn't realize how strong Ninja was. Like you can't really fully wallbang the corner. I have been killed by a rifle wallbang. Very hard to get the direct corner. But even if he doesn't have the direct corner, like he'll have the drop on you because this is all you can see. You know what I mean? So when you swing out, you have no idea which angle he's on. So you have to like go like this, and then you're moving, which means you have to hit a counter strafe, which means when you counter strafe, you have to hit a perfect spray or crouch or something, and then you're standing still. And he was already holding the angle with his crosshair, right? So like you're probably gonna lose. So just be very, very careful about how you play ninja as a T-side post plant. Okay, so I mean that's pretty much a post plant. Just be careful about, how you peek, and if you do peek, play with your team. You know what I mean? If I'm here and I got a guy goose and the last guy's coming up cat, well, I don't want this guy catwalk to, come here and then kill me and then look for the trade frag, you know what I mean? So like, he'll swing or he won't swing and he'll get pre-fired in the corner. Um, try to do a 3-2-1 peek, right? Right? So, yo, man, do you want to peek him? Let's do it, man. 3-2-1, right? And then I peek, and then this guy peeks at the same time, and then the CT's right there, and he's dead, bro. Just use your voice. Just use teamwork, bro. Right? If you don't want to count down, just say let's peek, and then, try to sync up, bro. One more thing about the A site. So sometimes you'll see a smoke here, and in the game, you will kind of know how soft the defense is based on the counter utility being thrown, or you'll have an understanding of how slow their rotations are. So at times you can go through the smoke and you'll either find somebody here lining up a grenade, you'll find somebody jumping up on new box, or you'll find somebody like trying to go on the right side of the smoke. I mean, you can die, obviously, but like more often than not, this close guy is not looking at the smoke because he doesn't have to look at the smoke. He's trying to get onto the bomb site or contest long. He's not thinking about defending this area. The person that's thinking about this area is the third guy in deep CT. So when you come out of the smoke, you can look for this guy. There's usually a free kill in front of you, but there will also be a guy here holding the smoke. He might have his knife out. He might be running towards you. So you might get 2 free kills. There is also a mid-upper, right? So the mid-upper will be holding mid. Maybe he'll overstay on the hold mid. And then, or maybe he's holding the smoke. I, as an opper, hold the smoke. So some people do it where I'm holding for the push. I'm looking for that wallbang car. I'm doing my thing, right? So it's a risky play. If your teammates are not, I usually do it when my teammates aren't near me. So if they're really, really far away, I can't just like sit here, right? Because I'm gonna get swung, or this smoke is gonna fade. So I go into the smoke. Maybe I throw a flashbang, or I ask for a flashbang. I don't know. I mean, you can like. It's tough to say. How do you throw a flashbang without getting caught? You know what I mean? So I mean, you could do something like this and just come out and fight. And sometimes chaos is the best option. I went over some basics of mid control and how you should smoke that and molly catwalk. I think I see this is more of an op-centric map. I did not really talk about the op in the Inferno video. So a lot of people come down suicide with an op. If you go along this side, on the right, you can see the lower cross. Sometimes that's good. I'm not going to give opping advice because I have kind of retired the op, as in I don't purchase it during the game. Let's put it that way. I do not purchase the op, but if I am given an op because I have a spawn or something, like I know what to do because I used to be an opper, I don't really do this anymore. So, I mean, if you want to drop suicide, you can take the fight however you want. You can aim down the center, you can aim along the right side, you can aim along the left side, you can shoot the guy crossing, you can shoot the guy peeking. You can, be a crutch player and, ask for the fucking boost here. Um, just if you're gonna buy an op, understand that it's expensive and that the only reason you should be buying an op is if you're good with it. So if you're not good with the op and you're dying multiple rounds, you know, you have to value or you have to value your life more as an opper. So if you go suicide every round and you're dying a lot, like you're just trash at the game, honestly. Um, value your life, you know? You can go B with the op. You're allowed to do this. You're allowed to hold for the lower push. You're allowed to peek backside B. Um, you're allowed to go for the long peek, right? Watch out for the util. Take the shot. Free fire the guy. Run away. Um, if you really want to peek mid, then come this way. Go, go along the right side. It's a lot safer. Why is it safer? Right? You can peek here, right? You can single scope, look for the push, and then slow clear. You can like single scope close, right? And then double scope here, and you should be able to hit that guy. 1, 2, right? And then you get a free pick, right? If you want to play super safe, right? You can come into the corner here, single scope for like a mid push, or you can get closer here and then just hold for like a wide cat swing, right? Like try to find an opening pick that doesn't put you at risk of dying. I actually really like this mid peak. If I know they don't push mid, then I'll just peek that. If they do push mid, then I single, double, right? And then I'll see the guy crossing. This guy down here, like he's eventually going to peek top mid, but usually he has to, some people do this, some people do this. So they'll peek suicide fast, maybe they'll peek right side, and then they'll slow clear left side. If you're shifting against a good opper, you're probably going to die. So, just, I mean, CT oppers, if they're really good with the op, they hit this shot, whatever. And then, maybe they see somebody, maybe they're worried about right side. Maybe they come here and they're clearing the barrel for the AK swing. They're clearing the left side of that for the AK swing. And then, oh my God, there you are, right? And you were there the whole time, so he's dead. Maybe he jumped across to spot and he didn't see anything, so he's going to retake it, right? And when he's retaking, he's single scope, double scope, and he's dead because you're already holding it. You're already holding this angle. You know what I mean? So, I mean, that's my suggestion. If you're going passive long, right, you can just hold the doors, right? Hold the push. It's fine. If your team's going long, right, and you were holding the push for them, you can then transition into holding top mid, right? Well, that guy's dead. Cool, let's go long, boys, right? It's not hard. If you're a top mid and you know that there's a guy lower or a guy that pushed through upper B, when he comes here, his shadow is against the wall. So when you're here, like you can see it, even up here, you can see the shadow. I also encourage you to nade close or molly it off and then go here and then clear the top of the box and then clear the left side. Because, you'll either go here to hold catwalk or you'll sit at the bottom and look for a timing on a guy Xbox. If you're coming from lower, like I said, have a good spawn. Make sure he's not there. Clear this, clear here, clear up there. A lot of people throw a flashbang like this. I'm throwing a flashbang. Throwing a flashbang. That should blind catwalk. So a lot of people throw a high flash like that, or some people used to throw a flash like this. I'm throwing a flashbang. I don't know how good that is. But yeah, clear cat, clear lower, and then when you get to here, I like to clear that. If I have someone mid, it's clear for me, right? So I can line up here. And I can middle click on this square. And that'll smoke off mid for me and allow me to jump onto the box. This little thing that used to be here is you used to be able to visually see the hook. You can no longer see the hook. For whatever reason, they removed it from the game. And it used to be closer to this side, but I think it's like right here. So the hook is here. What you're standing on is right there. I don't know why I have to jump on something that's not fucking there. But Valve, please fix. You know what I mean? Like, just put something visual, because I see veteran players come to the game and they're like, why can't I jump up on the left side, right? And it's like, you can, but like, how did I miss? You know what I mean? So we're in mid. When you come here into this corner, there's a rope. When you crouch on the rope, there's a fat piece of wood and a thin piece of wood. The thin piece of wood is your CT smoke. The molly, you can't see it here because you're crouching and the sun is reflecting on this tarp. But when you stand, the reflection goes away and there's a, I don't know if it looks like this on all computers, but this is the sun glare. To the left of the sun glare, there's the little green like shark tooth. You can left click on the green shark tooth while you're standing in the corner, and you can molly the right side and then walk through mid door. So there's a combo. There's even a clip going around of some kid where he throws the CT smoke, right? It's a crouching jump throw. He then mollies right side, and then he flashes mid door, right? So now he's through here, and he's fighting. Just careful of this, because if there's a guy here who has a read that you're going to go mid to B, a lot of things you do on the T side will be telling for the enemy team if they understand the game at any level. So if he's close and waiting for the mid to B, he might try to go through the smoke here. And then he'll either hold or he'll aggro the smoke. Because you could come out this way and he'll just shoot you. Or you could come this way and he'll wait for you and you have to full clear him, right? It's like there's a smoke there. You could full clear it, but while you're full clearing, the B player could be re-engaging. The B player could be holding an angle back here. There could be a guy close here waiting for that. So when you start fighting this guy, he swings. The game's difficult. The pro flash lineup for Cat is you get here along the wall and you aim at the top of this building right before it bends to the right, and you jumping left click throw, right? And this flashbang, your teammate should be here. You throw the flash and he's blind, right? So anybody standing here is blind. I mean, it's pretty good. How blind is it back here? That's not bad. Just be very careful about how you throw it, because it lands like right here, right? So if you throw it wrong, I even blinded myself walking up here. I think I was like blind. Oh, it's because of the tarp. If you're not underneath the tarp, you're blind. So if you're gonna peek Cat like close or far, make sure you're below the tarp, and then you can fight. That's crazy. The other thing I do is, like, let's say I have a Mac 10. It might come lower, and I'll throw a flashbang up here. I'll go here. I'll wait for it to pop. Do not peek before it pops, right? So let's say there's a mid-door smoke. I flash. I wait for it to pop, and then I go through the door and I jump out. Because if you go before, you will just self-blind yourself, and there will be no point in throwing that flashbang. It's kind of obvious that it's coming. It's super obvious. Like, it's not a good flashbang. Let me put it that way. But if someone's like here and they're holding mid-door, or let's be more realistic, right? So there's a mid-door smoke, and he's trying to see over the smoke. He's double zoomed. He's like, oh shit, flash, I'm blind, right? So if he's along the back and he's slow to move, or if he's close around this area, it'll give you space to get in, right? But if he's here and the flash comes in, he dodges, he'll re-peek. But by the time he re-peeks, well, not necessarily. By the time he re-peeks, you might be able to get past his scope, like here. He's gonna instantly re-peek you, or he could instantly re-peek you. But by this time, you're here, you're scaling. He could be like, oh shit, they're through mid-door, right? He'll re-peek, oh shit, they're through mid-door, right? And then he'll back up. Kind of reasonable response. There's another smoke you should learn. I don't know it. There's another smoke you can learn. It's like a mid to B double smoke split that allows you to come out to this side. Or sometimes I won't teach you this smoke because it's kind of more of an advanced strategy that you don't really need to know. But let's say we threw that CT smoke that I taught you earlier, right? So this is here, and like I said, there could be a guy behind the smoke, right, that knows you're going to be there, right? And there might even be two guys, right? There's going to be the first guy and like the second long player, right? So it's going to be the cat player and the long player here. They're going to nade open the smoke. They're going to nade open the smoke for themselves, and they're going to fight, especially when, you know, your guys are crossing towards window, right? They're going to nade it open and fight here. They're going to nade it open and kill you guys in the cross. So one thing you can do is, like, when you get that first smoke, right? When you have that first smoke down, you can actually throw a second smoke right in front of it. And this will deny, it'll deny vision from the nade. It's not perfect, right? And they'll hear it bloom, so they'll be like, oh, there's a second smoke, and they'll come out. And in this moment, someone should be holding, right? You come out, you smoke, you run here, there's nothing there, you throw a flashbang, you're on a B split, you have an AK, you hold the smoke. Someone holds the smoke always, right? Whether it's one smoke or two smokes, right? So it's either a guy here, mid, I mean, preferably hold it more aggressive because you have to save your teammates. So here is acceptable, anywhere here. If they're going to come through the right side, you think, you can play here on the truck. And this is a really nice off angle as a T-side player, just to kill the rotators who are coming from CT, right? Because let's say they push the smoke, or the smoke fades and they start clearing. They're going to clear mid-door. They're going to clear close right. They're going to be looking at the boxes. They're going to be trying to get an angle into doors. They might knife out towards window. And it's like they have to have a lot of caution to clear this exact truck angle. Or at the very least, yeah, they can actually see your legs. That's interesting. I'm surprised how often this angle works. I guess when you're clearing, this is a CT, a small CT tip. Look for the legs. Yeah, because this angle works for me a lot, actually. It'd be cool if I can get on the truck to hide my legs. Wow, I'm gonna start doing that. Okay, so that's kind of mid to B. It's really all you need to know. For catwalk, again, I like this smoke. It's the new box smoke. This is like a close smoke. This one is that same close smoke. You just need to know how to bank your nades.
I'm throwing a grenade. Grenade.
Just practice doing this.
Throwing fire.
So you hit your
I'm throwing a flashbang.
grenades. You can run throw or you can like jump right at the end. That was a flashbang.
I'm throwing a grenade.
You can aim like lower and jump throw. That was a miss.
Grenade out.
That'll give it a little bit more speed so it goes a little bit more deeper. The cat smokes are not really necessary, but like they help, right? Like if you're struggling, if you're all getting stuck, there's not much to say about DUST2. It's just that people they get stuck, right? It's like if you have an advantage somewhere, push the advantage. You can't just sit here and like look for a rotator, hold the long push. Like eventually you guys need to go somewhere. If it's a 3v5, right? If you're in a 3v5, then you should commit somewhere. Commit catwalk, commit long, commit through mid door, commit B. Don't just sit on catwalk and lose the round. If you have the advantage, right? If you got 2 kills long, then go fucking long. Like, why are we sitting in mid not moving? Why are we sitting on catwalk not peeking? There's only one guy. He's literally shitting his pants over here, throwing every grenade he has. Just walk out and fight him. Maybe he's long, right? Just walk out and fight him. If you don't want to fight him, then like throw a smoke like that, right? And that'll allow you to cross, which forces him that if he wants to fight you, he has to go back towards car, right? So you can pre-nade it and then pre-fire the corner and then get the bomb down and then you can molly ramp, right? Mollying ramp, very underrated. You know, if we come out here and my teammate's kind of out, just throw a quick one. Very, very underrated for removing the player from the ramp. Or even just, you know, I missed the molly there, right? But like even just giving him less space to work with, right? He's like, oh shit, molly comes in, I have to take the fight. Or molly comes in, I have to run away. Or molly comes in, but it missed me, so I'm gonna just stay here. Like, that seems like a good idea to just stay here and do nothing. You want to hit the molly. I guess you got to run a little bit further. No, I kind of missed too, didn't it? Nah, that one kind of hit. Do I have to align myself like this? And then aim at that? So that's a version of the lurk smoke that like allows you to walk out this way. And that's cool. There's another one where you can kind of aim in the center and then you aim at like, I think you just aim here. So the smoke lands at the bottom of the stairs and then you come out on the left and you get to fight. Backside and slowly clear. Like you can kind of fight that without being exposed to window and then you can fight window. The guy plays close. You want to get into this position and then W tap a molly. You literally just barely W tap it and it'll molly out both positions. You can aim it better so that you have more space to walk out, but he'll be on fire. Try not to do this too much. Don't sit here. This is not a good spot. You're standing still. A lot of people know how to use the mouse. So if you're standing still, you're just going to lose. It's not bad if you like time your crouches well. You know what I mean? So at least you're moving, but this is getting pre-aimed. And if you just stand here and pretend like you're going to kill 4 guys, it's not going to work. A lot of running flashes. You can aim up at this box, or you can aim over here. Sorry, not there. You can aim here or here and just throw one. And that's really only good for like a close player over here. That flash can actually blind window, I believe. If you Yeah, this flash actually blinds window. So the one where you're aiming up there, or maybe it's here. Um, this is like actually a good flash to throw
Throwing the flashbang.
because it blinds window. If you can, try to get a molly back sight. So that's pretty good. Like if you're in this general area, you can aim up at that corner, maybe this little box, and then W jump throw over the wall. As long as it's gonna hit this corner and kind of bounce back, you'll smoke the door. And the reason you, bruh.
Smoke.
I think the lower on the door frame, the better.
Smoke.
If you're here, aim above this and just lightly W tab jump throw. Basically, whenever you're resmoking this shit, don't fucking do this, please. Don't do this and then specifically not hold the smoke as if doors is smoked, okay? Like, this smoke allows this guy to walk out and fight car for free. Especially when you don't hold it from big box. It allows him to come out on the right side and fight big box or back sight for free. You can't create a gap where the car player cannot see somebody walk through the door, or the guy back sight cannot see somebody walk through the door. Please stop re-smoking B door like this, even. Like, the first example was pretty bad, but this one's still bad. This is what most B door re-smokes look like, and this is just atrocious, dude, because the guy who threw it is like this, and then there's no one in tunnels, and we know that there's a guy running lower because the car player called it, or the dead guy called it, and the guy who re-smoked it will not hold his smoke, and he will not hold tunnel. He'll just hold window. So it's right when the sign stops. You want the sign aligned on the pillar, and then you can left click run throw, and it'll land door. And if you want to smoke window, you can crouch on these barrels and crouching jump throw. And I mean, this is fine for window. That's kind of it. I mean, DUST2 is kind of simple. It's more about team play, trade fragging, map control. I didn't go like super into detail about what your job is and what you should be doing.
Guys, I tell you, we kill them all.
Okay, so options to you on the gun round, right? There's only a few strats that are really fucking necessary for DUST2 because it's a very simple map. So we can go 5 long, right? And we're gonna smoke the cross. We're gonna molly car. We're gonna do that. We can do an ace split where we send 2 to 3 guys long and 2 to 3 guys up catwalk. What you're gonna be looking for is the catwalk player. You're gonna want to take him out early in the round if he's aggressive because it's a free kill, right? Similar to a catwalk push if you were going 5 catwalk, which is also another option available to you. If you can kill this guy and run up catwalk, the long players have to run all the way back, and they're long, and there's no cover. So you're basically just playing the T side as a CT defending the bomb site, which should work in your favor. So again, right, you can also do an A split, right? So you can go out long, and then you take cat, and at the same time, the T side, a lot of the gun round strategy, if you're doing splits, whether on the A site or the B site, you always want to time the pushes at the same time. So if these guys are catwalk and they're swinging, you need to be swinging long because the player on ramp can't look 2 directions at once. So normally, if he misplays or he overextends on the cat push, or either way, right? Like he could be looking either direction, he should get shot from the other direction. If he's looking long against the long push, he should get shot in the side of the head from the cat push. Your timing and your positioning and your trading has to be really good. You keep in mind this is a 3-lane map, right? So it's the B tunnel, mid, long. Majority of maps in this game are 3 lanes, which means that you need to take mid control if you want to give yourself the ability to do splits, right? You can't take catwalk without mid control, which is why we're throwing early mid utility to take middle, which is why we don't want to lose control of lower tons. So sometimes, even if you're going catwalk, you may want to send 1 to 2 guys into lower tons just to grab this space and clear it so that you guys can go catwalk. So it might end up being like 1 guy holding long doors, maybe probably 1, and then 2 mid with the mid util, and then 2 lower. And then maybe 1 guy that swings here with the second guy top mid, he will then go long with the long player, and this player and those guys in lower will jump up Xbox to catwalk. You can go through mid. There is a strategy that you can do a mid to B. So you can either smoke mid and do it slowly, where you come down to bottom mid, and then once this fades, you can throw the mid util, like the CT util, and you can walk out mid to B. Don't be entirely discouraged, right? Let's say, we're taking bottom mid control, and for whatever reason, we want to come past the mid doors. Even on a long push, maybe it doesn't hurt to smoke here, or I don't know. Let's just say we're taking the fight into CT. We drop a smoke somehow. We slip into CT. If you can slip into CT, this is super dangerous because the CTs can't hold elevator, and they generally are dropping down and averting attention towards this CT area, which makes the defense of the long hold a lot softer, so your long players can push up and abuse the space that's being created by this distraction. You can go, or you can do a B rush. This is going to get stopped a lot by the smoke, like I mentioned. And then you could do a slow B take with a B execute. This is fine, but just keep in mind that the game has evolved, and you can't just have all 5 players in one area of the map. So generally, if you're doing a slow B push, you probably want at least somebody around the top mid area trying to kill either a guy pushing long or a guy on catwalk. Maybe if you guys slip into bottom mid, he can hold, an angle like this for the mid door clear or the cat jump. Or if you can take early mid control past the mid doors, he can play here and just kind of, bide his time, right? If you can get 1 guy here behind the CTs and then do your slow B execute, they should clear him if they're good, but if they misclear him or if he gains any value at all, it stalls the push. He can take out a util set. He can shoot players in the back. If he's good at lurking, a player like myself, I believe that I'm good at lurking. I generally tend to get impact doing that if the situation calls for it. So you could do a B split, right? You could go through mid door here, and then you could go through tunnel with your B execute. Be very careful. I maybe wouldn't, if you're going to do a B split, I wouldn't necessarily smoke B doors because that stops your teammates from coming doors. But usually if you're doing a mid to B, your teammates are coming window anyways because they're trying to get away from the CT angles, either over the smoke or just the general angles. If they're not here holding, they're usually looking at door. So most players are going window on the B split anyways and just flooding out and clearing under window, clearing car, and clearing back sight. But again, you have to sync the timing, right? So if there's ever a situation where we get a kill somewhere on the map and we call, let's go B, there's only 1 B. You don't go out long. You don't fight CT, right? You smoke CT, you should be sending the bomb through tunnel with the majority of your players. You should be trading on site with the majority of your players and then getting the bomb down, playing the post plant. You're never like pushing CT. In very rare scenarios, let's say like you may have an understanding that you might not win the round or there's an unknown quantity on the CT side. You can send one player, just one player, on catwalk to apply pressure, either slow or fast, to stall out the rotators here um, on elevator. So if he plays slow, he can drop down behind him and shoot them. If he plays fast, he can maybe he might die, right? He can maybe get 1 or 2 kills, and then you don't have to go B if he kills everybody. Or he can just simply come here, make noise, and then leave, right? And if he makes noise, the guy elevator is just kind of staring at cat. They have to throw a molly up here, maybe a flash, and then clear it, and be like, oh, where did this guy on catwalk go? Is he top mid? Is he Xbox? Is he close mid door? Right? So they'll spend a bunch of time trying to clear this guy out because they can't just run to B site because there's a guy somewhere behind them potentially. So you can even just like fake cat presence and then leave. You don't always want to commit it, right? But you generally can't afford on rounds like this to send, if you only have 4 players, you can't afford to send 2 of them here because you need majority of your players on the B site. Kind of the same thing. I think, if you work a lot of mid-control strategies where you're going to be doing splits and picking off rotators and flashing that opper and killing him, you are going to want to have a lurker sometimes. So like even if you go long every round and it's working for you, that's great, right? But you can still have the guy lower tons killing the Xbox player, right? You can still have the guy looking for the cat player to clear mid. You can still have a B player who might throw a lurk smoke or not. And the thing about being a B player as a CT is you're usually alone, and you have to respect that the T's can come out B, right? Because if you're the B player and you leave B, then you're gonna lose the bomb site for free, and the round's gonna be your fault, right? You can't really retake B. It's not like it's one of the hardest sites to retake in the game. So even if it's just one guy, like I feel like a good B player is always holding for this one guy until the last moment that's available to him. This isn't really like a position on the CT defense that is making impact in the game. Like if you want to make impact, you're playing mid, you're playing catwalk, you're being aggressive in other other areas. But here you have to be passive until the enemy team's out long, right? And then once the enemy team's out long, you can clear this as a CT. So as a T player, you can look for this push. If he's not pushing, you can push in because he's probably pre-rotating because his team's losing. So you can find him on the bomb site alone. You can get a 1v1, and then once you kill him, you can apply pressure on the opper that rotated to CT. Or let's say, your teammates haven't really gotten control of long yet. They can rotate through T-spawn while you drop a smoke and hold the bomb site. I think that's more of a concept for strong lurkers. Do not lurk if you don't know how to lurk, right? If you want to learn how to lurk, maybe I'll make a video on that in the future, but not right now. I got to finish this series first. So, same thing. If we're going mid, and then from the kills we get in mid, whether it's CT mid or catwalk or lower tons or the B player pushed, whatever kills we get on the map, that's generally going to demand a response from one of the sides. Okay. So they'll either become soft long or they'll double up cat or something, right? So there might only be one long. He could be pit, or they could have given up long. So when you find the timing where it's one long, you come out, you kill them, or they've given up long and you get all of this free space. You can walk up and then come in behind them and shoot them, whether they're on catwalk or here, or if he's just playing solo site, you can sneak up this way and go new box, or you can sneak up this way and come close on the box and kill him. That will give you lots of map control. It's also very frustrating for some guy to find the gap in the defense and abuse it. And then from the early kills, we now have a confirmed situation where there's an empty bomb site and we can move into the catwalk right from there. Because even if we get these early kills, it's like, okay guys, let's there's a guy B ramp and there's a guy B, let's go B. and then the B player gets 3 kills, and then we kill him, and then we come out, and then the opper B ramp kills us, and then he peeks window and he kills us again, and then that solo A player pushed catwalk down into lower and he flanked us and he killed us, right? So the lurkers give that extra layer, which I think is really strong when the numbers of the T side are a lot higher, whether it's 4 players or 5 players. You can, fake the lurk cat or be the lurk long. Again, this B lurk really strong because this B player can't really commit to the rotate or can't really commit to clearing mid with his team because he has to play for B. So the more you make this player interested in defending the B site passively, the less defensive resources and flashbangs and utility they'll have on this rotate here to hold it. So as a T side, right, just some concepts. To take all of that into perspective, what's going to happen is you're going to get stalled out by smoke grenades, right? So there's going to be a smoke here. If you're out long, there can be a smoke here. If you're going catwalk, right, there can be a smoke here. If you're going tunnel, there's going to be a smoke here, right? If you're coming on a mid to B split, sometimes the CTs will smoke B door, and then you're funneled either through running through a smoke or jumping out window, which is going to be really obvious to the B hit, right? So not that this guy should stand in this corner, but if he stands in this corner and maybe there's 1 or 2 guys here, he smokes that, he can hold the smoke, or he can just hold window and then transition over if you're running through smoke, and then anybody coming through this smoke is right in front of him. This is not a good spot to stand defensively, but it gives you eyes on everything. Normally, if I was that's a CT concept, we'll just move on. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of smokes, even here, right? Like, let's say your teammate misses his Xbox smoker, he throws a bad one, or the CT smokes this. He can now hold this for 20 seconds and then back up, and then once he hears your flashbang, he can molly, right? So you're just getting stalled out. So whenever you find that advantage on the map, you immediately have to start moving towards that advantage. You can't afford to be like, but there's a guy B ramp, and I was already fighting him, so I have to continue fighting him. I have to fully extend. No, you give up CT mid, you back up, and you go catwalk with your team, right? There's no reason. You have to play your life. Like, there's no reason to die in CT mid. If your team needs to end on A site, there's no reason to give the CTs a free kill or maybe even a weapon upgrade. Why would you give them an AK-47 if they're on MP9s, right? Why would you do that? Because now you're making the retake way easier when, you could just play ramp and then trade your teammate, or you could play goose and trade your teammate, and, keep the fights long distance with your AK as opposed to giving them a free AK to walk up cat with and one tap all of your teammates who are going to overpeak because they don't know how to play a post plant because you're low elo. Just, if you're not mechanically good, then just sit still in a post plant and play trades. Like, sure, maybe people walk out here, they kill all the B players because they're good at the game in terms of mechanics, but their brain is fucking washed. Their brain is so brainwashed, they have no clue what they're doing. You just need to convert the advantage, right? And the most concrete way to convert the advantage is to move with your team and stall out the retake with, a smoke here or a molly smoke here while the bomb's planted, and then drain as much time off of the clock as possible and then get trade kills, right? So, if I have a player car who dies, I can trade him here or trade him here. If they walk up ramp, right, and I'm on the ramp and I shoot him, he's half HP, he kills me, my player can turn from long or uncrouch from car and then get the trade kill. Like, it's vital. Like, it's so vital, and people just don't understand this even up to the 25K level. I think there's a lot of rank inflation right now, and people are just really stupid. So if we can lower the number of stupid people in this game, I would be really, really appreciative.